Welcome to Stone Hands, to the hands of stone. The ancient Finnic kingdom of Kalevala. I was this morning listening to Melvin Bragg's radio show In Our Time on BBC, and they were discussing Kalevala. It's the Finnic epos that was written around 1835, etc. And it consists of collected poems or runos from the Finnic folk around Karelia, in south of and north of Finland, from Estonia. And the epos claims an heroic journey to the north, where they fought a great sambo, which is an analog to a philosopher's stone, because sambo represents a thing that provides everything to its owner. But going back to history, then there are relics that shows that there was a kingdom that was centered around Estonia, Latvia and south of Finland and areas of St. Petersburg. And that place is called Kalevala. The Estonian epos of Kalevipoeg, which shows a son of Kalev, who was a man of might, how his son destroys basically the whole kingdom. And when we look at the old heraldry, then we can see that the Finnic people, the kingdom of Kalevala, they had a dragon flag, and the mythology of these lands shows how thousands of years ago a meteor fell on the land. There's a place called Kali, where is a lake, meteoric lake, but there are also other craters that people can find nowadays. And from there, it probably ignited the memory of Ragnarök in the ancient Scandinavians. But it also gave a folklore of a dragon falling down from the sky, who has many names: Lohikäärme, Lohe, Draakon, Pisuhänd, Tulisaba, Firedale, which was then weaved into the emblem of the Kalevala kingdom. And the Finnic Viking ships had those nose of a dragon on them, or a snake. The ancient lore goes that he used to speak the tongue of the snakes, a man who spoke the words that snake told him. So the folklore is solid, where the emblem comes from, the land of the snake. And from around year 1000, the kingdom of Kalevala, or the areas of Estonia, were the most wealthiest in the northern Europe. There was an enormous wealth over here because of the iron melting, of the business, you know. It was by the midst of the trade routes and the sea law, the maritime law that we use in jurisdiction is based on the maritime law of the kingdom of Kalevala, and it's used around the world. But it of course has been developed by the kingship of England, etc. Yes, here was a huge melting pot of metals. They were forging metals for warfare, for jewelry, for practical uses. And the trade went down to the south, to Byzantium and to Arabia. Here's even a town called Dirham, which was an Arabian coin. And a lot of silver was brought to Kalevala, because silver was the most usable metal for coinage. And on these lands of Estonia was the greatest hill fort of the Viking age. It was the largest one in the northern Europe. A host of 15,000 Novgorodian warriors came and tried to conquer it, but they could not. It's called Varbola. And 30 kilometers from Varbola to northwest lays another hill fort, Padisen. Here was an unified system of forts and forges where they forged weaponry, like the chroniclers told. When the German or Teutonic crusaders tried to cut a tree, suddenly there was 40-50 fleet attacking them. The four coast was guarded by the bonfires and by the court, the Varanguard, who eventually became the guardians of the Byzantium, the Byzantine emperor, because they were the most fierce warriors in the whole world. And Varanguard also inspired the Normans. Yes, the Norman Vikings, who went and established the kingdom of Sicily and kingdom of Normandy, which influenced the kingdom of France and the kingdom of England. The Varanguard, yes, they were patrolling the seas, they were patrolling the coasts, that no one could do their business without a permission. So the Swedish and Danish Vikings, who went to the inner lands of Volga and inner lands of Rus and so on, they needed to have a permission that they could plunder and trade. And quite often they did together Viking raids. So the land of Rus comes from the Finnic, actually. There's an old article about it over 100 years ago, how 3 forefathers of the Rus were actually from the kingdom of Kalevala, the Finnic people, who helped to establish them and were Slavinized later. So the great kingdom of Kalevala has influenced the Britannia, the Normandy, the Sicily, the kingdom of Novgorod, the Rus, the Kiev, and eventually has been suppressed and forgotten because the Germanic history has been the leading source of materials for the children to learn. So stay tuned, see you next time, and have a good time.